What's up, y'all? We are back, episode 8 of the Out of the Park Baseball 24 Minnesota Twins playthrough. And we were at the offseason. Last episode went through the playoffs, and we wound up making it to Game 7 of the ALCS and losing and not making the World Series. And we've been in that spot for 2 years in a row, so I think this year is the year we finally have to, get over that hump. So, first order of business is I need some new coaches. So I'm gonna do all this off camera, but I let Jace Tingler go. I want a guy who can make more of an impact, I think. So and as for free agents, Jorge Polanco is a big one going. He had 29 bombs last year. This is not easily replaceable, but we're not going to re-sign him. I'm pretty sure he wants a pretty decent size contract. We don't have a ton of money to spend. We'll clear up some of that when we DFA or we non-tender like Andrew Stevenson, Henches maybe, definitely Keegan Aiken, possibly Bailey Ober. We'll probably keep like all these guys around. So yeah, that'll be our first order of business. And then, we'll look what we have internally and kind of, see what we're going to do from there. But I like where the team is for now and the future. We got number 17 prospect in baseball, Carson DiMartini, who is knocking at the door of the major leagues. So, I'm totally cool letting Polanco go because, after that, I can just slide DiMartini right in and, kind of just take his spot. He's a lefty, which is kind of important because we have a lot of righties and a lot of switch hitters. Wallner's our big bopper from the left side. Shoemake's more of like a, soft hitting defensive third baseman. Although he doesn't really play a good defensive third base, so I got to figure that out. What we're gonna do with the infield. I think I'm gonna slide him over to, but Palencia can't play third either. So I'm like, I want to have all these guys in the lineup, but none of them should be third baseman. I mean, the one thing I could do is slide over Carlos Correa to third. I mean, he's still a fantastic defensive shortstop. There's no sense in doing that. So, I could try Brooks Lee again at third, but he's really been no good over there. And I kind of like him in left anyway, for the moment. Although we have Emmanuel Rodriguez, so we're gonna have to figure out this team. Basically, is what I'm saying. We have a lot of guys for not a lot of playing time at the moment. So yeah, we'll do that off camera. And we'll get back to you guys, maybe awards. We'll probably do awards. Let's do that. So, yeah, we'll be back. Alrighty, so we're going to swing our first trade of the offseason. It's a smaller one, but we're getting a pretty good return here. So, Louis Varland kind of, he'll be in his last option year next year. He really hasn't been able to crack my roster, mostly because my starting pitching has been, locked down by some guys. So, but I think he has some potential. 27 years old, whatever. Cole Sands, kind of same story. He's only been in 12 games in the last 2 seasons. He should probably be playing more, but I just haven't had any big injuries or anything. And then Austin Schulfer, same story. But he's not at my 40 man, so that's the difference. So in return, we're getting Errol Vera, who's a shortstop, second base, third base prospect, infielder. I didn't play too well in AA last year. 23 years old, minor league depth at the very worst. And then David Calabrese is kind of the big get here. He's on the 40, has gotten a taste of the majors, crushed AA. I don't know why he was down there, but also 23 years old. He could play center field in a pinch, probably a corner guy, though. Good speed, lefty. I kind of see him if we run a platoon, Mason Hour, kind of rolling with that. But yeah, that's kind of what I see the team looking like. I don't know. Okay. That's what I see this trade as. So, spare parts for minor league guys with potential. So we're going to roll with that. And yeah, we'll add, I believe we have to add Calabrese to the 40. 40 men's filling up. We have a ton of outfielders. We'll have to clear this up a little bit, but we can do that just shortly, and we'll be back. Also, let's just run through arbitration. So I am non-tendering Keegan Aiken. All-star Keegan Aiken had a really rough season this year. And, maybe somewhere between these two pitchers. His BABIP was a little higher, but not crazy high. Just gave up the home run ball way too much. So he's going to hit free agency. And also Andrew Stevenson. His estimate was $3.8 million. I love when he was out there. He's been a good player for me, but he's a platoon guy. And after 2 really good seasons, he kind of, fell back down to earth. And yeah, I could find someone else for $3.8 million. So everyone else here will be offered contracts, including like Joe Ryan, who, is disappointed perpetually in the save. But maybe he'll turn into something. Bailey Ober also being offered a contract. Hentges, who was really bad this year, but, his underlying metrics aren't necessarily horrible. I don't think he's a guy who's going to give up a home run per 9 innings, for example. And the strikeout to walk is about where it's been throughout his career. So, I just don't think he's this bad. And if he is, whatever, it's $2.4 million, I guess. So Polanco will hit free agency. I'm not going to submit the QO to him just because I'm nervous he might accept it. This is demand if you're curious. So it's probably about 50-50 if he accepts it. And I don't have enough money to offer him a $21 million contract, so I can't even see what he would say to that, but I assume he would say yes. Christian Vasquez also hitting free agency. He wants a monster deal. Definitely not going to happen for him. He kind of played the bookends of that contract with us. Played his first year with us, and then for Houston for 2 or 1.5, I guess, and then back to us for the last year. And maybe he winds up in Houston. He winds up back with us again at some point. But let's move forward. Okay, so we didn't have any Gold Gloves to announce. Also, really no awards. Hernandez finished. Got some votes for reliever of the year. Finished 4th in the AL. No Silver Sluggers. Not really surprising. Rookie of the year. Palencia finished 4th. Jason Dominguez killed it. He looks like he's going to be a complete stud. And Jordan Lawlar won in the NL, if you're curious. Manager of the year, we didn't win. I think if this year we should have won instead of last year. But whatever. That's just me. Nestor Cortez won Cy Young. Aaron Nola finished 4th. No Max Fried on that list, but it's okay. And Oswald Peraza, of all people, wins AL MVP. Pretty crazy. Gunnar Henderson 2nd, Jazz Chisholm 3rd. And for our guys, Byron Buxton finished, got some votes. Well deserving. He probably had his best year for our team when we needed him the most. I mean, he played 155 games. Pretty crazy. And that's it for MVP votes. So it's award season. We'll move to free agency now. Okay, so I forgot to announce what I was doing with all these, the free agency. But I put an offer out for Devin Williams, who just won reliever of the year, and we signed him to a 1-year, $16 million deal. So the rationale behind this is I had a ton of money available this year. Next year it goes down to $8 million. With guys getting raises and such in arbitration and everything. But so I figured, hey, I got money to spend this year. Let's go get the best guy available. And that happened to be closer Devin Williams, who I don't really know what I'm going to do with him and Duran, but, maybe they'll just both be my closers. I'm not really sure. I'll probably keep Duran in that spot just because, he's been there for me. And but Williams is going to be a shutdown 8th inning guy. No doubt. Duran, hopefully he can return to his 2024 self. If he doesn't, then we can slide Williams in there. And besides that, this is a pretty good bullpen. Inexpensive minus Williams. And yeah, so I'm happy with how this looks so far. And let's go over the other offers that I've made because I have made a few. So this reliever, Carlos de los Santos, pretty decent reliever, minor league deal. I gave him 1.1 mil. Also put an offer to this guy, Luis Cabrera, 26-year-old, starting pitching depth, at the very least, and he's on a minor league deal as well. And then we put an offer to this guy, Kao Song, Taiwanese pitcher, 91 to 93 side armor from the right side. So 2 years in a row, we're trying to take chances with these foreigners. Huang wasn't bad last year, but I probably rushed him along a little bit too much. Probably should have let him go down to AAA for a little bit. He was only 23. So I don't think I handled that as well as I could have. But with Song, we'll see if I can do a little bit better if we get him. It's a 1-year, $5 million deal. I think that would auto-renew if I understand this game correctly. And we do sign him. So there you go. Our newest pitcher. So I don't think I'm going to start him in the rotation. As of right now, I'm planning to try out Hernandez as a starter. He has the stamina for it, and I really like this 3-pitch mix with the fastball, slider, and splitter, kind of hitting from different angles. I think that does actually matter in out-of-the-park baseball, even though it sounds ridiculous. The pitches that you have kind of determine how successful you are. Like, if you don't have a good out pitch, like if you just have a fastball and a sinker, you're not going to get a lot of strikeouts. Hernandez has a good repertoire, and I think he could probably make it as a starter, even though he's a 3-pitch guy. I tend to not like those guys in my rotation. But it'll be him, Joe Ryan, and Bailey Ober fighting for these 4th and 5 spots, I think, coming into the year. Huang will also have a chance, as will Song. But those are my main 3 guys I want competing. Henry kind of earned his spot in there, as Fried and Nola. They're locked in as well. So yeah, I kind of like this, let these guys compete in spring training, see who comes out on top. And the bullpen looks good. And, yeah, our lineup, I kind of have it set up how I think it's going to look. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Jose Miranda yet. I think I'm going to trade him. He's just a little, redundant, I guess, they're just not really useful for me right now. He can play a little bit of outfield. He can play the corners. But, Austin Martin was so good last year. He walked 17% of the time and only struck out 12, 124 WRC+. I want to get him out there more. We still have DJ for another season. And I guess Miranda could stick with the team, but 2 pretty bad years in a row, and yeah, I just don't see it happening. So that'll probably happen as we approach the preseason. So yeah, those are our first moves of the offseason, and we'll be back shortly. Just checking in if you are as interested in this Hall of Fame thing as I am, because I've become kind of invested irrationally. Carlos Beltran makes it in his 4th year. Had he was all over the place, but jumped up 26%. Pretty unrealistic, but whatever. Then Adrian Beltre jumped up 14% to make it in as well on his 3rd year. A-Rod jumped way up to 66%. It's a 20% increase. And Ichiro still on the outside looking in. No real change at all. Joe Mauer, I think, actually decreased quite a bit. And CC increased a little bit. Let's hope we can get him in. Manny Ramirez dropped off the ballot and a couple other guys. But some notables who stay on. Bobby Abreu, Omar Vizquel still hanging in there pretty late into their runs. As for first ballot guys, Matt Kemp, Nick Markakis, Sinsu Chu all drop off. Edwin Encarnacion gets 12% of the vote. And Ryan Braun, 19%. I guess those aren't too surprising. I guess a tale of 2 careers in a way. Yeah, Braun at his best was one of the best hitters and one of the best players in his MVP year, although it's always going to be tainted by the steroid thing. So, yeah. All right. I just want to check in on that. We'll be back. So I didn't realize this was a thing. Last year we spent $6.6 million. As you can remember, we had the 3 big signings. So I can't sign any player for more than $441,000. It also says we may spend up to 5.6 mil. So I think I'm just gonna have to go like bargain bin shopping with these guys. There were a couple of guys I really wanted, like this catcher particularly, and I had built the strong relationship and everything, and Jesus Gomez too. But unfortunately, I'm limited to only spend $441,000 per guy. So, I mean, I can get like 10 different guys, I guess. But yeah, I'll do that off camera. But a little disappointing. I didn't realize it was a thing, so it's on me. Okay, so surprisingly successful. Take these off. International free agent signing period. So we did go with the quantity over quality. And I think it turned out pretty good. We signed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 guys. And probably be easiest to go down to our international area here. And, I mean, most of these guys we just signed. So, honestly, I kind of like that better than just going for one guy. I mean, we were able to get this guy, Juan Carrillo. I guess he was our best signing, but like Luis, he's a discovery. But this guy, Andres Castro, pretty decent little player here. So then we were able to get some arms, which our minor league, like low minor leagues, are kind of. We've had a tough time getting good arms down there, so I think that was huge. And so very successful. Little endeavor there. We were limited in what we could offer, so we did the best we could. So yeah. Okay, so we're almost done with free agency, and just wanted to go through some of the big deals that were made. The Phillies made a couple of huge moves. Re-signed JT Realmuto for 4 more seasons at $36 million a year. Pretty wild for a catcher, but probably going to be worth it. Dylan Cease they also signed to a 6-year, $138 million deal. And then Bo Bichette went to Cleveland, 8 years, $255 million. Julio Urias goes across the state to San Francisco, 6 years, $160 million. Other notable ones, I guess. We can keep going up. Here we go. Logan Webb to Tampa Bay, 6 years, at about $17 million AAV. Nico Horner to the Miami. Juan Ramirez on a huge deal. That's 6 years, $129 million for a 31-year-old guy who's never pitched in Major League Baseball. Old friend Kenta Maeda went to the Pirates, by the way. Also, more recent friend Jorge Polanco signs in Baltimore. So we'll probably be seeing a bit of him definitely coming up. Christian Vasquez to Boston on a 3-year deal. So, that was $18 million AAV for, a bat first catcher. It's pretty crazy. So, those are the big moves around the league. And, we'll go to the next checkpoint. All right, so we are back. One more trade before the season starts. Tomorrow's opening day. And we had this roster crunch, so I was kind of expecting this. I had foreshadowed it earlier, how Jose Miranda would kind of probably be the odd man out. Just 2 disappointing seasons after winning the batting title and being, objectively our best hitter that season. He's come back down to earth. I think the 349 BABIP probably, he's a ground ball hitter. If he's, I don't know. I think that was kind of a facade, and it's been showing the last 2 years. So we're going to flip him to Toronto for Kevin Alcantara, who was formerly one of the top prospects in baseball, or at least a top 100 guy. It doesn't show it here, but traded by the Yankees. Remember this one well. We got Rizzo for him, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, He got a taste of the MLB. It wasn't really any good, but he has 3 option years left. Not going to hit arbitration for a couple years. And Jose Miranda, he's already making some money. He's 27, projected to make $3 million next year. So this gives us some outfield depth and is able to allow a guy like Austin Martin to make the team, who had a really good spring. And on the other hand, Jose Miranda did not. So yeah, this is kind of just the end of an era. Maybe 2023 was just a flash in the pan. Maybe it's not. I've been burned by a couple trades like this. I was just looking through, and Alex Kirilloff has had a couple of good years for Washington. If you want to check that out here, we can go look. So if you remember, I traded him for. Let me go find him actually. That's how you spell his name? Nope. Okay. There we go. I forgot to mention this trade earlier. Yeah, he's had a couple of good seasons in Washington, or at least a year and a half. He was never that player for me, but we wound up getting Cole Henry for him, so I'd do that trade over again, obviously. And they did sign him to a nice extension, so good for Alex. I'm glad that worked out for him there. Anyway, back to the trade at hand with the Blue Jays. Going down here. And yeah, so we're going to complete this. Mostly just clears that roster spot that he would have taken up. So we'll throw Kevin down in AAA for now. Probably make an appearance at some point this year. But yeah, this is the opening day. Guys who made the team. David Calabrese, who we traded for this offseason. Taught him to play right field. He was good in spring, so he makes the squad. He'll platoon with Mason Auer, who also had a good spring. Matt Wallner's back, although he's kind of on thin ice, I guess, because his ratings have decreased, and he didn't have a great year last year. He has a track record where I'm going to keep running him out there, but we have some guys coming up, and we'll adjust accordingly. Buxton, obviously. Rodriguez makes the squad. Pretty decent spring from him. Braden Schumacher, his defense improves. That's cool. And he had a good spring as well. So hopefully he keeps raking for us. Correa, DJ will make it as our kind of utility guy, along with Austin Martin, who had a good spring, as I mentioned. Placina will make it as well. He had an absolute fantastic spring. And Brooks Lee will start at first base for us, although his defensive ratings, I should probably be playing him at second, but I stupidly didn't put Placina anywhere besides second base this spring. So we'll have to wait a year on that. But okay, so we'll go to opening day and then pick up next episode with next season. So here we go. Very excited. Oh, I should probably go over the rotation while we wait. So Nola will start game 1. Should win it all this year. Holy crap. Okay, well, our owner is very ambitious. I don't think it's unreasonable, though. And we surprisingly do not have a top 10 prospect, so they're not as high on DeMartini as I am. I mean, look at this freaking guy. Holy crap. This is like one of the better hitters I've seen, and they just don't even have him in the top 10. Pretty crazy, so let's make them eat their words there. He'll start the year in AAA, by the way. Not a great spring, so just a little bit more time, and then he'll definitely be up this year at some point. Looks like Derek Mitchell moved up to number 30. And we did sign Ka Song, and his ratings went way up. So happy with that. And then other guys, so Mercedes drops down to 45, but he had a good spring, and yeah, I'm still hopeful for him. Denzer Guzman, on the other hand, I'm not, but his ratings have come along. He's just not going to be that stud we thought he was going to be at one point, which is pretty much to be expected. Jesus Montez cracks the top 50 at number 46. Zach Cower had an excellent spring. And, yeah, he'll start the year in AAA, although he hasn't pitched above A-ball. But he'll probably make an impact this season. Marco Rea, who's been a fixture in these top 100s. He starts the year in AAA after an excellent year in AA. And I guess the last guy worth talking about in the top 200 is Luis Medina at 118. Really had a horrendous season last year in his pro debut, but still hopeful for him. Other guys who can make an impact this year, Lyon Richardson, who made a start at the end of the year and pitched well in that start. Jose Salas, we saw a bit of him in 6 games last year. Calabrese, Teddy McGraw, actually, will most likely make it up here at some point. He'll start the year in AA, but I'm going to fast track him to the majors, I think. I think his stuff can play up in the pen. Let's just check that out. Oh, it actually doesn't, so. But whatever. He's still a good pitcher, so. All right, opening day is upon us, and this is the bullpen. Connor Phillips is going to slide into that 7th inning role. Moran, I don't really trust him anymore after kind of like an implosion of a season last year where he was walking like over 6 guys an inning. And this is the rest of the bullpen. Quintanilla makes it. Hidalgo makes it. Efros is back. And then I wanted to get a new rotation this year, but of course Joe Ryan and Bailey Ober will inevitably slot into their 4 and 5 roles as they always wind up doing for my team. So opening day here, Aaron Nola. We win 5-0, but that sucks. Brooks Lee goes down 4 weeks. It would have been nice to have Jose Miranda at this point, of course, but Jason Dominguez is Yankees here. So at least we had DJ. He can fill in, and we'll be fine. But pretty nice game. Nola pitches 6 1/3. Connor Phillips to Hidalgo to finish it out. So that'll be the end of the episode. Episode 7 or 8. I forgot which one we're on, but on the episode. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like if you're interested. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.